right, so we'll just wait for Greg to come on. There he is, admit. Hello.
Hey.
What's happening, my brother?
Doing?
So good to see you. I love the hair.
Good.
It's like super growing. Yeah.
I put on damn near 10 pounds since last week.
Dang, you're just eating a lot and going to the gym a lot.
I quit my day job.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too much.
It's amazing.
I've been making sometimes 5 figures a week doing the church work, but there's no reason for it to be up there. You know?
And this is your passion. This is your thing. All right. Well,
that's stressful too. So yeah.
Well, I'm glad you needed a break from all of it, and with all the books and everything that you're writing, like you needed a break. You need to be able to relax some too,
Yeah.
All right. Well, hello, my name is Carla. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And I have with me today my very good friend, my brother, Greg Lake. And I'm going to read this because the books are a little confusing. So he is an author of 3 books. First one was Psychedelics and Mental Health. The second book, The Law of Entheogenic Churches of the United States. And then the third one that he just came out with is the volume 2 of The Law of Entheogenic Churches of the United States, definition of religion under the First Amendment. And he is also a consultant for entheogenic churches. So he has a mission and a purpose, and he is like so freaking focused and so on it. And like, I'm just so proud of him. I've been knowing Greg for a few years. Just to kind of give a little bit of background, we both had addiction problems in the past, and went to the same rehab, and that's how we ended up meeting. This video is about plant medicine and addiction, the energetics of addiction, the energetics of the word addict, and just how our lives have changed since we've kind of started walking that path. And neither one of us, I'm sure, are going to say that this is the right path for everybody to take, but it's just our experience. So welcome, Greg. I'm so happy that you're here. I love you so much. And I'm
happy to be here.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm honored.
I'm seeing your new little kitten. He's just running around all over the place. Are they not like ruining your furniture?
Yeah, she is. She's running around.
She'll
come by here and I'll pick her up.
And I have mine right here. So if he's bad, I'll just kick him out. But so the first thing that I really wanted to like get into, well, first of all, just a little bit about your story, like your backstory, how you got to Synacor, and then kind of like how you got here. Well, let's go with the backstory first.
Yeah, well, it's really kind of a blur. I mean, I started drinking and using hard drugs at the age of 12. So that included crack, meth, drinking, smoking marijuana every day, whatever pills I could get my hands on. So a lot of my past is a blur, and it slowly comes back to me over time. I remember certain events just out of the blue. And but I mean, I was a highly functional addict. Started in 8th grade, went all the way through high school, no problem. Went through college, no problem. And then went mostly through law school with no problem. And then my mother died in my 2nd year of law school, and that's kind of what sent me on a tailspin. And that's where I really picked up the opiates, which will ultimately be the major force driving me down. So I graduated law school, passed the Texas bar, and started practicing law. But I don't know, probably within 18 months, I could no longer function to practice law. And was homeless for about 2 years. So, in and out of jail, usual course. Went to one 30-day treatment facility back in like 2014. was drinking and manipulating people the day I got out. So, didn't do well for me. So yeah, then I ended up at Centacor. The judge in the state bar, I had a misdemeanor theft I was on probation for. I had popped a piss test the month before. So when I went in, they took me in. And so, the judge and the state bar gave me the ultimatum to do Centacor, or they couldn't make any guarantees. Well, I'll tell you back. The judge, as far as my probation, judge would have let me back out that day to do another year probation. Or if I was good with what the state bar was saying, I could go to Centacor. So chose to do Centacor. I mean, I'm very happy I did. It's helped me in a lot of ways, and it wasn't an easy program, and really my spirituality developed there just because of how tough it was and how you kind of got to live outside of your physical form and in spirit at times because of how stressful and demanding of a place it is.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And just a little background for the viewers. For me, basically the same thing, except I was not functional at all. Never went to college, didn't do anything with my life, just did drugs every day, anything I could get my hands on for 10 or 15 years. Finally, I got homeless, I lost everything, and that's when I surrendered. I was at the late age of 37. I lasted all those years of doing all that until 37, when I finally found myself walking the streets and sleeping on people, sleeping with random drug dealers for a place to sleep and drugs and all that kind of stuff. So when Centacor came, when I found Centacor, I was just like, please God, help me, take me. 2 years, thank you. It was like I was ready for it. But yeah, I totally agree that my spirituality I started realizing that I needed some sort of spirituality while I was there. And I started learning how to be present. I started learning some aspects of it in Centacor, because I would have just died if I wouldn't. Kind of like what you were saying, it was just too demanding and too and all that. But really, I was looking for something. I was looking for some type of spirituality that wasn't the typical Christian or the typical whatever other, religions. I just, and so, yeah. And so, Greg actually brought me to my first plant medicine ceremony. I don't even know how that happened. I don't remember how it happened, but that particular ceremony, it was a peyote ceremony. And I just remember my heart just blasting open and literally being able to see everyone's heart and everyone's soul in the whole circle. And that for me changed my life. It was, ever since then, my heart just hadn't closed. And I mean, the energetics of addiction is hopelessness, is totally heart closed. There is no heart. You got an armor around that heart. Hopelessness, alone, alone. And all of those things went away in the first ceremony. You know what I'm saying? Did you have a similar experience, or how? Do you agree with that?
For me, when I started working with the medicine again after Centacor, my experiences went straight to more than religious. I was having contact with entities who were guiding me, who have guided me to where I'm sitting right here talking to you today. So yeah, it took on a whole different tone for me. It's I knew at that point I had a mission here. And that this is the path that I need to follow. But yeah, no, I mean, I tell you, my Bufo experience was my heart opener for sure. I just, for me, Bufo just shows you that, all the shit we worry about is irrelevant. It's just about caring, loving for other people,
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it did that for me too. All of it, it's like that first experience did that for me. And then after that, then we did the ayahuasca ceremonies and different things and then Bufo. And it's like every time I go in to another ceremony, it's just a deeper understanding of that love, that I am loved, that I am worthy, that I'm nothing, I'm not that addict. I'm not that person that I
Yeah.
was. It just proves to me over and over and over again. And of course, it just gets deeper and deeper. But the whole paradigm of the addict, it's like it makes me cringe.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm certainly not saying that like everyone needs to do plant medicine, like every person that's addicted to drugs needs to do this. I'm definitely not saying this. Me and Greg went through we both did 3 years in Senecor. It wasn't just two, because we both had some things happen in between. But all of that therapy, I think, might have helped a lot for, may have kind of like helped where maybe if people don't have that same like all that therapy and they just go
It's it's
into it.
it's 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 it's, it's humility. You understand? Because at Cinecor we had to like be humble and take a look at
Yeah,
our shit and admit to it, right?
yeah,
We already had that willingness and that understanding that we're not perfect and but a lot of people don't have that going in, or they're not prepared for that. And they resist it, and that's why they have a challenging experience. Whereas if you if you're already open to the fact that there might be some things that you've done that aren't good and you're going to learn about it and understand it, it's a different ball game. And usually your experiences won't go down that route because you already know
yeah,
what you've done and what needs to be done, if anything,
right.
so
Yeah, to me, it just like it just gets all that energy of unworthy, hopeless, da, 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 all those energies are just stuck in us. And it's like we can do all the therapy we want, but all of those energies are just still there. And it's like we need that. For me, I'm never going to say we all need it, but for
yeah.
me, I needed that master, those master plans to just pull it out of me and to show it to me and to release it from me. Oh my God, it's adorable. It's just so so the difference between before, mm, what do you think is like the difference between like doing, let's just say mushrooms, because it's like the typical one that I did when I was like a teenager, doing it then and doing it now, because it's so different.
uh you know when I took them when I was young, yeah, it was just a recreational thing. After law school I took them, and it started to become spiritual. It was, I started having these very profound thoughts and ideas and emotions, and so yeah, it's for me it really started there. But I had all this baggage, right? And that's all I could think about during my trip was, I'm killing myself, and that if I don't do shit, if I don't cut the shit, I won't ever be shit. And I knew that when I took them, um, before. But again, once I got sober and started working with the mushrooms, it was just a whole complete different deal. Um, yeah, I mean, that's all I can say about it. It's just a different deal. And look, I think any kind of successful sobriety, I think, has to be backed with some type of spirituality. Whether that's you're having a spiritual experience, which Bill Wilson and all these other co-founder AA, he knew, that hey, he knew LSD could give people that experience too. And so yeah, it's that spiritual experience. Some people have a sudden moment where they're like, oh my God. Some people over time through service to others in these programs, steadily have that experience. But I think for the people, especially in recovery, who are having trouble with the spirituality part of it, I really think that those should be the ones specifically that these be made available to. Because look, someone have a good spiritual experience, have solid recovery, you know, a lot of people are just like, oh my God, it's a mind altering substance, you know, but yet they chunk a lot of them down their throat every day, you know, they get from a psychiatrist. Yeah, and it's all, let me say, it's all intent. You know what I mean? It's all what you look, you know, what's the difference between me and addict? Like, you know, using, let's say, hydrocodones, you know, if I take a few after a dental procedure, it's no problem. It's medicine. It's help the pain. You know, once I start taking it past there, well, then there's an addiction. So, you know, a lot of it boils down to your intent of why you're engaging these mind altering substances, right? Are we trying to escape, or is this actually medicine that's going to help us with some type of ailment? And obviously, me and you understand there are spiritual elements, right? And that they affect the mind and body complex. And so that's why these plant medicines are good, especially energetically, to help clean our aura, and especially the purgatories like ayahuasca. You know, so that's all energetic.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Like, like for me, I remember, you know, being a teenager doing mushrooms, and it was just like a fun thing to do, because really just to escape, though. It was always just to escape. It was always uh, to escape, to be cool, to fit in, to whatever. And now doing it and holding the mushrooms sacred as I hold them, you know, the experience is just so much love and so much gratitude. And you know, it's like sometimes I'll just you know
Mhm.
just cry and just so full of gratitude and full of just
Yeah.
that heart space. And it's never to escape. It's always to learn more,
Yeah.
about myself, or to help the planet, to help, you know, the collective, really. You know, that's kind of like the mission now, um, with the mushrooms. But I mean, just a completely different story.
Mhm.
Yeah. So let's see. Um, oh shoot. I don't know what to say. Um, yeah, I mean, just a completely different story. So would you think, I mean, my point of this was really to say, um, you know, that these sacred medicines have changed every. I think that first of all, when you're labeled the addict, when you've gone through all these things and you're going to meetings or to whatever it is, and you're thinking that this is going to be your life, and it's just, to me, that's depressing. You know, 50 years of this or 20 years of this, and this is just what you have to do every day. And the mind is so closed up and so in that box. And to me, my mind just needed to be opened. Like, I needed to rise out of that box. It was just miserable. Even though I didn't look miserable, really, I was empty inside. Like, the whole time I worked at Centacor, the 5 years I worked there after being there in treatment, I really was empty. You know, I had, like, my heart was still closed, all of that. So it's like you can live a normal life you know, after the addiction. You can look like you're living a happy life, but not be living a happy life.
Mhm.
Because I would look like I was living just fine. But I really wasn't happy. There was so much missing. And the missing part was that expandedness,
Mhm.
and knowing and seeing that we're all one, you know, that we're never alone. The alone addict, the loneliness, never have to feel that again. And you never have to feel that again off of the medicine. Like, it stays with you. Like, when you see it, you can't unsee it. So you never have to go back to that lonely, worthless, miserable place, you know?
No, I agree. You know, and obviously, there's people, and right or wrong, you know, that do meetings every day, go to meetings, do this, and you know, and they manage to stay sober. But you're right. I mean, fundamentally, there's still this uh level of energy or spirituality that's kind of missing. That's kind of that link to really place you firmly into living that type of lifestyle. You know, my theory has always been that people are called internally to these things. I don't think it's something that you can necessarily force on someone to a degree. Uh, best I ever do is just make people aware, and let them draw their own conclusions and decisions. But you know, we forget a lot. You know, it's crazy once you start looking at the historical record. I mean, these medicines have been used this way for thousands and thousands. I mean, longer than we know of. And so, you know, well, what happened? Like, how are we now in like 2022? And it's just now coming back out that, oh yeah, these can help you with your alcoholism or your depression. Like, this has been known, and these substances have been used in these ceremonies for, again, as long as recorded history.
Mhm.
How this amnesia occurs, like down the historical timeline, I have no idea, because you know, even when psychedelics came to the U.S., you know, when they hit mainstream science in the 50s, I mean, that was before then. I venture to say that the only use of these substances was in a ritualistic, religious, shamanistic sense. And then all of a sudden, here we go, science in the 50s, and then this whole notion that someone would even take these recreationally didn't come around till the 60s. You know, and I think what a lot of that was is that the people were having religious experiences, right? But
Oh
they didn't
yeah.
have a context to understand it that way, because the history around these different cultures and civilizations hadn't really been developed at that time, right? So they don't have that frame of mind that, oh, this is like a religious, you know, type experience, and you know, we need a ritual, and they probably did have them. But yeah, so you know, when you look back over history, this is the majority use. This is, you know, the most common use is how we're talking about on the spiritual level, trying to get people better, you know,
Yeah.
from a lot of different things.
Yeah. So I don't know anything about like Iboga. Have you experienced that one? Because I know that's supposed to be good for addiction itself.
Yeah,
Like,
I have not experienced Iboga. It is very good for addiction, because on top of, you know, obviously the spiritual experience, it actually resets all your neurotransmitters in your brain.
wow.
Yeah, to back to the default. So people who have been doing meth forever, people who've been doing heroin forever, like, well, with heroin, they say that you just completely skip the withdrawal. If you go at the right time, you'll just completely skip the withdrawal. And then obviously with like meth, you know, with your brain, your dopamine receptors being so far depleted, they allegedly iboga can cure that.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, what's next for you? Like, what do you do? Like, oh, go, please.
Yeah, I was going to say this, you know, and it's kind of a travesty that there exists this natural earth substance in the world, but yet we got people dying on the streets from heroin and fentanyl overdoses like every single day, or people losing their kids because they're addicted to meth. But yet we know and we're aware of this specific, you know, tree from Africa, the
Yeah,
roots of which
it's a damn
can
tree.
actually like cure people of this shit. And it's just like and it is developing, I guess you would say, over time. It's developing. They're going to be doing studies, things of that nature. But it's like, you know, in the
Yeah,
meantime, all these people die, and at the end of the day, it's like something from the earth is illegal. I can't consume. Like, it makes no sense. And so hopefully we can, you know, hopefully more of the collective will wake up and realize this and actually start pushing for, you know, substantive changes in the law and policy.
yeah. Because people are just still stuck in that old paradigm of drugs, everything's
Yeah.
a drug,
Mm-hmm.
and not something that's useful. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
ah,
People, you know, they let the government and society define things for them, right? It's you're not, you know, and I woke up to that in my life, that like the way I thought that I felt about things wasn't really the way that I thought or felt about them. Like, it was something that had been programmed into me.
yeah,
So I had to kind of go back and rewrite all that myself. But you know,
yeah,
people aren't in a situation, you know, until they have like this white light experience or get engaged
yeah,
these medicines, they're never going to be able to break through that specific level of consciousness and frequency.
mm,
You know, and again, these medicines can help, and people are coming to them fairly rapidly.
Yeah.
This is being done, as you're well aware, all the time in the United States,
Yeah.
these ceremonies and things of that nature. So we'll see. I mean, what are going to be the ripple effects of that? I mean, I don't know. I tend to think that at the very least, I think we will have better earth-friendly policies. I think that's probably going to be one of the major effects, is that we start treating Mother Earth better. People wake up and say, hey, no, we can't do this. And then we all make our own individual lifestyle changes to kind of help push that along.
Yeah.
But where else? I don't know. I mean, maybe one day we'll realize that borders are meaningless, and that we're all one people and one earth, and that we don't need borders, So I don't know where the rabbit hole ends. I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see.
It's exciting.
At the very least, I think people are raising their density of consciousness, and I think the earth is shifting to fourth density consciousness.
Yeah, for sure.
I see it right in front of my eyes, really, every day. And yeah, it's real special to be alive and incarnated right now.
Yeah.
To be at the forefront of this.
I know. Yeah, totally. And I think, you were saying once you experience this, it's like your level of consciousness just goes up and everything changes. And it's exactly what happens. That's exactly what happened to me that first peyote ceremony. That's exactly what happened. And then it was like, and then the ayahuasca, like think about this. Like I remember you telling me in that first ayahuasca ceremony, when we were talking about what happened in it, I remember you telling me that you learned self-love, that grandmother was kissing you all over your face, like trying to tell you love yourself or something like that. Like, isn't that like the for a consciousness, a spirit of a plant to teach us that we are lovable, and to teach us that we are loved, and for us to love ourselves. It's like just that experience alone. Let me let the cat out. Okay, buddy. Bye-bye. Should I mean, golly, like that's just a profound, simple experience that really could change people. Like just something that simple. Do you remember that? Am I saying that right?
Yeah, no, I can't remember what the specific thing was there, but yeah, I mean, look,
Like
these plants and these substances are connected to a higher realm of intelligence, right? I mean, that's very obvious, and I think whatever it is that the individual probably needs to hear or understand the most is exactly what they're going to hear or understand. Well, they probably might hear it, they might not understand it or refuse to understand it, but the information is going to be presented. And so, yeah, it's interesting. These plants have been here a lot longer than us, and know substantially more than we do, or connected to something much higher than our third dimensional bodies.
Yeah, beautiful. So, what's next for you? Tell us what's next for you.
So what's next for me? Well, I'm going to continue to do church work, and then I'm going to be switching over to litigating these claims in Texas here in the next probably 4 or 5 months, and then just kind of take it from there. I feel like this is the battle of my day. This is the proverbial hill that I'll die on. So just pursuing that to the end. So the way this thing is moving, opportunities come up every single day. I'm sure I'll write another couple books. I just don't know what I'm taking time off books for a while, but I mean, I will be back writing more books and just doing more scholarly work with a lot of more travel. I want to start travel a lot more. See the world, see these cultures in South America, and just experience all this and just not look back.
Yeah. See, you have your life has changed just dramatically, dramatically. Like it's just a trip to sit there and watch. It's like everything has just really shifted. Your whole energy has just shifted. Um, in abundance wise, like it seems like you've learned this. You've got this. Like you've learned how to flow and how to allow like money and finances and different things to come and go out of your life.
What's
Marty.
up? Oh,
Yo, I have on my pajama bottoms, so
oh,
excuse
you're
me.
good.
I'm gonna
You're
get
good.
I'm gonna get this little shit.
Get off there.
Anyway, so tell us where people can find you. Here's Marty. You miss him? You
Yeah,
saw
I
him when he
do.
was little. Look
He's a
how big
lot.
he is.
He's a lot nicer than my black and white cat. He likes to attack me.
Oh,
He
this one might
does.
go attack too, but
Yeah.
so where can people find your books and
All my books are going to be on Amazon. If anybody has, any questions or is considering any kind of church work, they can reach me at george.lake@theoconnect.com.
okay.
And my Instagram is infinite.wisdom.55.
Infinite.wisdom.high
I
five.
don't get on there just a ton, but that's my Instagram, and I hope now that I have some additional time to actually post more to social media and continue conversations there.
Sweet. Okay. All right. Well, I guess I won't take up any more of your time. I can't wait for my next trip to the
Yeah.
property.
Yeah, no, I'm working out there. I was working out there today. I'll be working out there tomorrow. So yeah, just whenever, just let me know.
Yeah, I can't wait for our women's circle.
Mhm.
That should be really cool.
No,
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I'm gonna come see you soon.
okay,
When Jenna's here, I'll come see you. 'Cause I
okay.
miss
Well,
y'all.
just let us know. So I'll be here all day, during the day. So just whenever.
Thank you for doing this. I
Yeah,
love
no
you.
problem. Love you too.
All right. Bye.